Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Richard Mabbutt. I'm here to talk about the Basal project. As it, I'll get it going, will it? Yes. Okay, yeah, as it says here, it's a free plant identification resource, works on computers and mobile phones. It's mainly aimed at beginners, but others might be interested. Quick brief history how it started, because some people are saying, why are you doing this? 2016 I started botany properly, using books, as in just picture matching. So I was into Collins, Rose, Veg Key and Stace, but it was the Veg Key that got me really interested in a lot of the smaller things, aspects, things like dendritic hairs, smells, all that sort of stuff that you get in pollen that you don't get in other floras or guides. That really got me interested. And it took me a bit further into looking at rosettes. I was thinking, well, what's that? And what's that? You know, I was constantly asking questions. So I was going on to a lot of Facebook groups. There's a lot of groups on Facebook for botany with a lot of experts on there, like, and saying, what's this? What's this? What's this? And I got fed up to the fed up with it, really, sort of thing, like, and constantly asking questions. I seem to be the only one that was asking questions about this. So I had a moan one day. I says, look, you've got all these floras and all these guides out there, and they're all 95% of what's in them is about flowering plants. I'd mention a basal leaves or stem leaves, corline leaves, what do you call them? You know, and so I had a good old moan about it, and up comes Tim Rich, and he says, well, why don't you do one? So 5 years later, I have over 650 photographs of basal and juvenile leaves for identification purposes. Obviously, it's a bit like picture matching, but it's a bit more up to date, a bit more organized. So there's various ways of getting there. So yeah, here we have a basal and a juvenile leaves there. Found the right-hand one the other week. That's Cambridge milk past. I'd never seen that before. That was very nice. So as far as I know, there is only one of the website called Acta Plantarium. That's Italian. They've got over 3,500 rosettes as such on the website. Done almost 17 years they've been going, and done with many botanists in Italy, but it's Italian flora, and they've since expanded into, well, I think they've run out of ideas for finding rosettes, so now they're putting flowering plants on there as well. So as far as I know, my website is the I don't think there's another one like it in the world, basically. Like, so it's all, there are no flowers at all. It's all juvenile and basal leaves. So a lot of people will be asking, how reliable is this? Because where do you get your frame of reference from? So a lot of it, obviously, you'll find flowering plants, and in amongst them, you'll find some juvenile plants as well, because we all know seeds don't all drop at the same time. So you'll get the different stages, and that's a very easy way to find them. Staking out quite a few plants, that's been time consuming. You know, you find a rosette, don't know what it is. A lot of people online are umming and ahhing, saying, well, it could be this, Richard, it could be that sort of thing. So in goes the stake, grid reference, and go back like 6 months later when it's in flower. As I said before, I've had a lot of help from experts on social media botany groups. That's been a real help. And also a lot of field trips with VCRs. You've all been very helpful. Thank you very much. So there are also some photos that need replacing. I've got some blurred photographs that need replacing. I've got to go back. And as we see this one here, a very nice example of Centurion pulchellum, as found when I was out with Brian Laney one day. But with the rosette being only 3 millimeters in diameter, it's not exactly ideal for a beginner for identification purposes, is it? So there are a few plants that need replacing, and I'll be asking people, you know, if you've got a better photograph, swap it. Thank you very much. It'd be brilliant. So the website's basically easy, 4 tabs. The home tab is the main tab. Rather than putting the actual website, I've just put some keynotes so as you know what it contains. It does stress that it is a guide only, because it is picture matching. We all know vegetation can vary. What is a Taraxacum 1 minute can look completely different the next. The binomial and vernacular are taken from Stace 4. And there's also a big bit on it asking for contributions, because I have got 650 taxa on there, and I'm after a lot more, and I need help to get them, really. So there are some simple requests when submitting photos, or if you'd be nice to submit photographs. Plants from the wild only. Something in the photograph for scale. When I first started this out, I've started off with 50 plants, took some lovely photographs. I went to Russell Parry, a friend of mine, who's assistant VCR for Leicestershire, Rutland, and he said, "Lovely photographs, Richard. Where's the ruler?" No frame of reference, you see. Nobody, it could be that big, it could be that big. So thank you for that, Russell. So I scrapped all those and started again. So yes, frame of reference, very important. No submerged aquatic plants. For a beginner, especially from photographic ID for aquatic plants, water soldier, yes, but anything else, very, very difficult. So I'm not included those. And if there are no rosettes, juvenile leaves are fine. So there's a search bar. There we go. In there, you can type family name, genus, species, the binomial or the vernacular. So say, for instance, we put in Cerastium, up come all the Cerastiums, and you click on each individual one, and you'll get a lot more detail. And the same for the vernacular, put in Spurge, and up come the Spurges, and there we have Portland with more detail. Okay. Also, the other last thing on the home tab, very important, is the downloadable Excel sheet. I didn't know Excel could do this sort of stuff. A friend gave me a Excel sheet of the DDB tax of 25,000. I looked at it and thought, I'm never going to get that lot. But apart from that, a lot of them just cannot be identified, can they? There's a lot of things cannot be identified at a juvenile stage. So I've excluded grasses, sedges, rushes and ferns, hybrids, varieties and microspecies, some rare trees, and submerged aquatics. So then I've got it down to basically 2,500 taxa. So on this downloadable spreadsheet, this is what it makes, what it looks like when you open it up. Just to break it down, list of species that are on the website. Notice the Adonis annua very nicely sitting at the top there, which was a very nice find for myself and Sally in VC3 last year. A list of remaining target species out of the 2,500. Then we have a nice search facility. Now, it's only searched by scientific name only, but that'll be explained in a second, the help for that. So say, for instance, you put in Cirsium. There we go. And it'll give you a list of all the taxa on the left that has been found and on the website, and all the taxa on the right. Just so you can see how it gets amended, since doing this PowerPoint, I've since found the Cirsium heterophyllum. So now that looks like that. Very nice, thank you. Just 3 Cirsium to find. The search facility, for people who aren't familiar with scientific names and use common names, put in the common name. And there we go, Balis perennis. So people can then use the search facility for themselves to find out what they've got in their area or what they're interested in. So next on we have the families tab, pretty straightforward. All taxa on the website is arranged into family. Again, just click on the photograph of the family and you get all of that family come up. And there we have one of the campanulas. Does anybody know which one that is? Glomerata, yeah. So just a quick pop quiz then, just to, it's for a bit of fun. Anybody know what that is? Indeedy. I'm asking these questions in here. And there we go. Yeah, Hispidus. About that one. Amantoglossum. Of course. And there's the curveball. Trinia glauca. Very nice that. So the next tab is straightforward, it's contact for me. And then we've got the tab for useful links I put on there. I thought it'd be very helpful for, I thought of not putting anything on there like keys for Taraxacum, but for beginners who go on here and think, I possibly want to take it further, some useful links. So if anybody can think of any other general sort of keys rather than specific. Ken's keys, who's he? Well, anybody could think of any other websites that I can put on here that aren't species specific? I'll be very interested, please, and let me know, and I will get them added to the website. So, so the future of the Basal project. Well, the main future really is to get yourselves as recorders, and hopefully the people who record for you or around you, to submit taxa. Like I say, it's taken me 5 years to get 650 species. So to get the other 1,800, I'm looking at another 15 to 20 years, because I've got a lot of the easy stuff, you know, I mean, but there are another 1,800 taxa I'd like to get to make this a really good identification guide for beginners. So help, please, if you can. Basal and juvenile leaves are not only for springtime, just like dogs aren't only for Christmas, basically. People quite often, they'll say to me, well, it's the wrong time of year, Richard. It's not. Sometimes I've found loads of taxa in the autumn and the winter time that more than on a day than I would in the springtime. It's just, you just don't know. So it's all year round thing. It's an all year round hunt. And credit, of course, will be given for every single photograph that's put on the website. So that's it. Any questions?
Aliens, garden escapes. Where do you want to draw your line?
Where do you want to draw the line? Yes, I did have something on here that it made it a bit too complicated. I thought only garden escapes that have been previously been recorded by the BSBI. But I thought, well, that's going to kind of restrict it, and people are going to say, well, why can't I have this and why can't I have that? And don't end up in all sorts of, well, not arguments, but debates over what should be on the website or not. So I think it's just a case of, like, if it's in the wild, photograph it, record it, and, you know, if it's identifiable as in a juvenile state, then we'll have it. So yeah, so there is no sort of line as such, you know, to say like we're cutting it off there, that's it. So
Richard, is this is this available via the BSBI website? Is there a link in?
There's a link on their identification page. Yes, yeah.
On the identification.
Yes, yeah.
Is there an identification facility, or is it simply picture matching?
It's simply picture matching, but there's the help with the search there. So if you think you've got a thistle, put in the word thistle and all the thistles will come up. You know, so for beginners, that can be really helpful. You know, if they think they've got a hypericum, put in hypericum, they all come up. It's then after that, obviously, you know, it is picture matching. If you know the family, as I say, you can get in with the family way. It's as long as you've got a sort of way to get in, you've got a rough idea. This will take you a bit further and give you the photographs that you can say, well, it's not that, not that, not that. It narrows it down. But it can also help people reinforce that they've got the right genus as well. They'll say, well, it looks nothing like that, so it can't be that genus or whatever. So it can help in that way as well as a guide. So
there's such a lot of interest in meadow restoration now, and there are groups all over the place creating meadows, and part of that is usually seedling safaris, and there isn't actually, I'm not aware of the various resources out there, but by getting first stage true leaf seedlings in there as well, that you'll get a lot of hits because of that. Clear, it's also
probably would do, but the problem with seedlings is that they are cotyledons, aren't they? Really?
Well, first true leaf. No one, I think, no one's trying to do it from a cotyledon. But,
First true leaves or primary leaves, yes, then it will be identifiable because it will have a shape and have a size. And have a form that can be recognised. So yes,
there is a guide for that.
Is there?
Yeah.
Right.
There is one for seedlings, isn't there? For the arable seedlings, yes.
It's a German book which has all the seedlings of northwestern Europe.
Yeah, there was one given out to UK farmers as well, but it was made by the BASF many years ago. And a friend of my father's, who's a farmer, he gave it to my dad. Said, "Your lad's interested in plants." He gave it to me. It's like, whoa! And every ecologist that I know going, I'll give you 30 quid for it. Because you can't, it wasn't in print, you know, it's given to farmers. So
that's another one for Sarah to scan then.
Yeah.
Richard, there might be, thank you very much, but there's at the Natural History Museum, where Fred and I once were, in the British and Irish Herbarium, there is a beautifully pressed collection of seedlings with cotyledons and young leaves,
really,
which are all flat there, and they are really fantastically done. very, very clear depictions of what the plants look like.
Wow.
They've never been digitized. There's
Really?
several hundred of them from what I remember. And you might find them a really interesting balance to the in the wild. with
Yeah.
The actual, just because of course there's all the background taken away, so you can get really clear understanding of what a juvenile.
Of course,
equals.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So it might be worth contacting the current curator and seeing if you could do something with them about actually getting those lovely things online. with
It would be
them.
nice just to see them for a
Yeah,
start.
they're really cool.
Wow.
Lovely.
Yes. Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Ken.
You might not want to consider it, but I mean, you've carefully taken photographs of these basal plants. They're all nicely at right angles and so on. It'd be an ideal data set for a deep learning AI program to actually match images that people pick up on their phones,
All right.
and then they can check them against your ones. So that actually go through the stage of identifying them rather than having to know the family or whatever. So it would extend the application to people who haven't got a lot of autonomy.
Right.
You might not want to take it that far.
I'll have to look at. I don't know anything about AI. I must admit, Ken. So I'd have to
No,
look
I mean,
into that
it's-
when I get some advice on it. Really.
Plant ID, I don't know if you've tried that, it's plant.id, I mean, it's fantastic that you put a photograph in.
Yeah.
80% of the time, it picks several species and it almost certainly gets the one you want.
All right. I've not heard of that. No, interesting.
And it's simply analysing loads and loads of photographs and learning roughly what they look like.
Right. That's good, as long as the photographs are correct in the first place,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
So what
yeah.
you can do is put the photograph that you know what it is on their system
Right.
with the determined ID.
But it will add
And
to
then
their
it will learn
database.
from that.
Right. Yeah, it's worth considering. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The more people it can get to, like this, it's about the learning, really, isn't it? It's like the more people you can get it to.
I mean, that people who run that one, they might be interested in your opinion because they've got the algorithms for it.
Yeah.
And they're actually quite available, sort of general algorithms for deep learning, apparently.
Right.
You can buy them, you can apply them with whatever you want, use them for.
Excellent. I'll look into it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kim.